Well, here it is, the new year already, 2019, and another year, another shitstorm, another Vegematic show. Thank you for tuning in this week, and give yourself a pat on the back, because you are somehow in the deep underbelly of the YouTube universe. So congratulate yourself on finding this little corner of the net. So what do we have going on? New Year's Day, the Border Patrol celebrated by using some tear gas again. Over in New Jersey, the FBI and New Jersey investigators gathered evidence of undocumented immigrants who say they worked at Trump Golf Course. Yes, this from the Washington Post. Federal and state investigators are scrutinizing the employment documents of immigrants without legal status who say they worked at President Trump's golf club in New Jersey, according to their attorney. Annabelle Romero, a Newark attorney who represents 5 undocumented immigrants who say they worked at the Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, said Saturday that he met with investigators from the New Jersey State General's Office and 2 FBI agents in November before the workers began to go public with their stories. So they apparently manufactured some fake green cards and social security numbers that supervisors at the golf club allegedly gave one of his clients. Victorina Morales, a 44-year-old Guatemalan national. He also gave investigators pay stubs of Sandra Diaz, a 46-year-old Costa Rican native, who now has legal status but said she was undocumented when she worked at the club for 3 years. Now, this continues to get more interesting. Morales and Diaz went public in interviews with the New York Times earlier this month. Morales said she had worked at the Bedminster Club for at least 5 years, even making Trump's bed. Making his bed with illegal immigrants. My. Ironing his clothes at the time. She told the Times that managers at the club had taken steps to help her evade detection as an undocumented worker. Oh, the hypocrisy, the hypocrisy. Still want to spend all those billions on that wall? And in some other noteworthy news in Brazil, on January 1st, just so you'll have a happier new year, the #1 rainforest burner apologist, Bolsonaro, has assumed office in Brazil and has announced their liberation from socialism, inverted values, the bloated state, and political correctness after being sworn in as the country's 42nd president. So the march of the fascism continues unabated. This son of a bitch is just another authoritarian. And of course, he's being supported by the big money people. Yes, the guy who doesn't like unions and socialism. Bolsonaro, a former army captain who served under 7 undistinguished terms as a member of Brazil's lower house, was until this year regarded as a marginal figure, known for his outbursts against leftists and LGBT people. He rode a wave of righteous anger to power provoked by sweeping corruption scandals and economic recession that Bolsonaro blamed on the leftist Workers' Party that ran Brazil for 13 years. Yeah, we all know about Mr. Lula. He got kind of screwed down there, didn't he? Set up. So we can all see that with Bolsonaro, it's like balls and arrow or something like that. Bolsonaro is, I guess, what can you say? Right-wing death squads, probably outlawing unions, breaking into homes, death squad democracy, just like they've always had in a lot of those South American countries, and supported by big money and oil. So as all dictators do, Mr. Bolsonaro's, in a poll Tuesday, Brazilians said they expected his government to be good or great, 65%. As soldiers in ceremonial dress fired cannons in salute, they cheered, waved flags, and celebrated in hope that the perennial country of the future might find its destiny by heading back to its past, its mythical past, much like a few other dictators always seem to appeal to one's mythical greatness, some kind of mythical past that never existed, that only exists in the minds of these demented right-wingers, where everything is in order and the way it should be and the way I see it. These are these controlling authoritarian personalities. And why are people looking to this kind of nut job for leadership? I think it's just a sense of hopelessness. So if we all become happy and hopeless at the same time, we might stand a small chance of changing this world that we are all living in. Yes, he held up a Brazilian flag and saying, "It will only turn red if our blood is needed to keep it green and yellow." Isn't that frightening? Isn't that just a wonderful thing? The crowds cheering and the right wing taking over Brazil. Not just the right wing, but another strong man. Just seems to be a pattern. I suppose here in Canada we're going to get that next year. I don't know, because there's a lot of people that want to return Canada to its mythical past of Mounties and great vistas and Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy. But it'll never be that. It's cosmopolitan. There's people from all over the world living here in Canada now. And I don't think that Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy were even Canadian, as far as I know. But that doesn't matter. It's part of the mythical past. We like mythical things. We like traditional things. We like to make sure that blood is spilled in order to maintain the once great and mighty nation state. I don't know what's happening to our world when I see this, but I'm deciding to not be depressed anymore, because I have discovered the secret of happy hopelessness. Let me explain for a minute. It is hopeless, and as soon as you accept that the situation is hopeless, and you just go, okay, it's hopeless, but I'm going to do a little bit that I can to change it, that's within my power, then maybe enough people would get into feeling happy about their hopelessness. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not making much sense, am I? Let me try and explain it this way. I can either face each day and look at the nastiness in the world and all the horrors and let it get to me, or I can look at it with detached bemusement, knowing that in the end all of this too shall pass, including my own life. So why should I spend it totally miserable when I can reach out to other people who are doing positive things, and therefore I will be happily hopeless rather than a doomer. Doomer has got such a negative connotation, and I'm not saying it isn't hopeless. I'm just saying that we can be happy in our own hopelessness. So I am starting up the Happy Hopelessness Foundation. So everybody's willing to, you can join up, you can sign up. There's nowhere you have to sign up. It's just you got to decide that you're going to be, even though things are hopeless, you're going to remain happy. I'll get a happy helmet one of these days. Chris Hedges wrote quite a good piece over at Truthdig. And I'm just going to read you one paragraph from it, so you can go over and read the rest if you haven't at Truthdig. And this is a year end done on December 31st from Mr. Hedges, who is an amazing human being and somebody that actually gives a shit. Somebody that actually puts his money where his mouth is, so to speak. And he writes, "The struggle against the monstrous radical evil that dominates our lives, an evil that is swiftly despoiling the earth and driving the human species towards extinction, stripping us of our most basic civil liberties and freedoms, waging endless wars and solidifying the obscene wealth of an oligarchic elite at our expense, will be fought only with the belief that resistance, however futile, insignificant, and even self-defeating it may appear, can set in motion moral and spiritual forces that radiate outward to inspire others." So can you start radiating, everybody? Come on. Anyway, including those who come after us. It is in essence an act of faith. Nothing less than this faith will sustain us. We resist not because we will succeed, but because it is right. Resistance is the supreme act of faith. So that from Mr. Hedges' latest Truth Dig article. So you can go over and read the whole thing there. Well, I said last week that hopefully I would be here this week, and that was last week, and now it's this week, and I'm still here, and there's been no catastrophic events that I can, touching me at a personal level very much these days. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling glad to be alive, and I'm glad to be with you and share this philosophy of, what was it again? Oh yeah, happy hopelessness. So happy New Year's and happy hopelessness, folks. Next week, I will bring you a very special extended version of the show that I've been working on for, at least 5 minutes now, and it's gonna be hot, so you'll want to check that out. I'm gonna try and post these every, what's tomorrow morning? See, I do them in the middle of the night, and then I don't know. If I put them up then, it's not, anyway, it's gonna be tomorrow by the time you see this. And then this will be the past, and you will be in the future. So, from the past to the future, I hope things are still happening. I hope things are doing well for everybody. And I hope that one day the people will rise against the programming and the screens that dictate their every move, their every existence, sucked into a unknowing and uncaring cyber universe, dragged into being electronic molecules flying across the earth to bring you this very program. Unless something catastrophic happens, watch next week for the greatest Vegematic show ever created. Years in the making. A cast of thousands, made at the expense of my sanity over a period of years and years. Does anyone care? Is anyone out there?